fucking go! You're listening to Bread and Circuses.
It's like the mob media, for one, is the entire world populated. Like, everybody's on Twitter. Fucking the UK is on Twitter. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
unfortunately.
With Caleb Salvatore.
Well, they can't go to the comedy shows because there's a 2-drink minimum, and you can't mix the Percocet you've been stealing from work with liquor.
And Nick Kohler.
There literally be people in the fucking 80s that didn't know that nutting in a girl would make her pregnant.
No one's asked that question. What did those families do to provoke Alex Jones like that?
You know what'll solve all of these racial police protests? A Pepsi.
What the fuck is up, friends? Welcome to this week's episode of Bread and Circuses. I am your boy, Caleb Salvatore. Here, as always, with my co-host,
Nicholas Kohler, baby. What's up, guys?
Here with the next governor of Nebraska, Scott Zimmerman. That's what I'm being told, the next governor. I could be mistaken.
Seems like it. Seems like it's going to be a thing that we're going to do, so we're doing it. He's
leading in the poll I conducted, which was the poll of my house. So It's 2-0. Nice. So that's how's it going running for governor, man? How's that working for you?
Man, I'll tell you, well, it kind of started out as me just being like, rabble, I can do better than those guys,
Yeah.
And then the next thing you know, like, I have a team of people hanging out going, yeah, you should do this thing. And then I've got a website, and now all of a sudden it's happening. And I spent last summer just going out and meeting people, being available, and I was so impressed by the level of interest people had. They were just open to hearing the concept, hearing the conversation, and then I came back, and I'm a full-time, I teach full-time, so I came back to my school year, and I've been campaigning on the weekends and part-time at night, full-time at night, if we're being honest. And then it's just like the level of interest is just gone and gone and gone. And now since the primary hit, it's just insane. It's taken off like a wildfire. So it's really kind of neat to watch it transpire. And it's really, really enlightening for me as an individual to think, you know what? Yeah, there are more people that think like I do. So it's going well. It's exhausting, Caleb, if I'm being brutally honest. I'm trying everything I can to just keep treading water and do the best I can. To represent who I am and the people that I seek to represent. So
caffeine, that's the key.
All of it, all of the caffeine. Yes. The answer is yes.
How far, I guess I should say rather, how have your travels out to Western Nebraska been? Because really? That's like a whole nother country compared to the world.
No, that's my jam. I really like being out in Western Nebraska a lot. It's beautiful country. I love driving across the state. I love driving across the state of Nebraska so much that when we drive through cow country, I don't even hit the air recycle button. You know what I mean? Like, I roll the windows down and I'm driving. I love being out there in the country, and those folks are my kind of folks. We're a little bit more simplistic, for lack of a better term. I try not to get caught up in the hustle and bustle of the economy and the movers and the shakers and all that. I'm just happy kind of existing and living my life and doing that thing. And that's that community out there. That's what they're into, man. They do show up, they do the work, they take care of their family, they take care of their communities. And I think they just, they do feel very underrepresented. They do a lot. And that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate because we are such a vast state. So for them, I feel like I was kind of a breath of fresh air. In fact, I've had several people tell me that how refreshing it was to hear a voice from Eastern Nebraska that understands what they're going through and what they're doing. So yeah, it's really neat. It's also got the spectrum. You've got extremes all over the place. People that are so entrenched in their conservatism and their Christian conservatism specifically, that's the way of life for them. So you have to be able to figure out how to work with those folks and find the common ground, the things that you can agree on. Because when you do come across folks on either end of the extremes, it's too many people tend to want to argue back and forth and bicker about it and try and change each other's mind rather than to negotiate for a common common solution or a common ground. And honestly, you guys, sometimes, and one thing I've really learned is sometimes it's best just to agree to disagree.
Absolutely.
I would agree with that for sure.
I disagree.
I agree with you.
Disagree. With
I agree with you on that.
Because I mean, you elect one of these like city boys to go and do the agriculture out there in western Nebraska. It's like its whole own thing. So
well, we have a family farm. You know, we've had that homestead in our family since the 1880s. You know, it's been generation to generation. My aunt and uncle still live there now, and that's just something I understand. You know, we weren't necessarily growing up, we weren't a working farm, but we had farmland, and Grandpa, you know, maintained the property and all that stuff and maintained the farm business. So, I get it. Like, I understand what it's like. You know, he used to work on the farm and then go work at the factory overnight just to make ends meet. So I understand that there's a little bit of a struggle, especially with you know, you think about like us dudes we watch that Bitcoin like a hawk, you know, or whatever cryptocurrency is the latest game. We watch those, or our stocks and our money market accounts. We watch those like a hawk. Well, these guys are watching the bean prices and the corn prices and the fertilizer prices. Oh, yeah. And their market's doing this all the time too. So, and you think inflation's bad for us. Can you imagine if that was your livelihood? And they literally have you over the coals for all those things, so they can charge effectively whatever they want. So it's hard.
They're just as affected by the gas prices too, because
even more so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
gas is more expensive out there because it's harder to get the trucks out there.
Yep.
I only watch the exotic fish markets. That's where I have all my money tied up.
Sure. I understand.
Mine's on the Bored Ape NFT, and dude, all my money's
the
gone.
NFTs. Yeah,
it's all gone.
It's all.
It's funny.
You didn't have any NFTs, did you, Scott?
I don't even know.
No. You should make an NFT and sell it. Make a Back the Beard NFT. I think you could raise some money that way.
See if we could generate some funds that way. Maybe. I don't know.
Give it.
You know, this is no ideas are off the table, Caleb. This is my campaign. We're calling it Politics Unusual, because the reality is, like, it's a two-player game. I'm basically taking a table chair and I'm pushing it up to two dudes playing Battleship. You know, two teams playing Battleship, two-player game, and I'm trying to muscle my way into that as a third player, and that just doesn't work. So you know what? I'm going to mosey on over to the couch. I'm going to plug in the Xbox and we'll fire up 2 or 3 controllers. And then we'll make it happen, you know. But I'm not trying to do the typical political thing, for lack of a better term. I'm trying to go to where the voters are. I want to go meet them. I want to talk to them. I want to understand what is important to them, and that's not easy because I can't be everywhere all at once. But I think my meme game is pretty strong, so really relying on that going on. We're firing up that TikTok. I think that's going to be fire.
Oh yeah,
I think that we can gain some momentum there. You know, just a little bit more unorthodox approach to getting attention, and honestly, the more people I talk to, the more people that are just respect the fact that I refuse to play the game, the politicking game. So
who do you find it easier to convert, Republicans or Democrats?
Republicans, probably.
Easier, yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I would say I have supporters on both sides of the aisle.
Sure.
I would say that too, because the people I know, the people that I talk to, like up still in Nebraska, and I tell them like, hey, you know, make sure get out and vote in local election. My friend Scott's running, like, go and, you know, vote for him.
Sure.
Most of the guys actually I talk to are left-leaning people in Omaha that are like, yeah, dude, like I don't want these establishment people.
So that's what it comes down to. Like it really has just become an elite establishment of people getting into power so that they can stay in power and keep their friends powerful, and the rest of us have to carry that burden, and it's frustrating. And more people are realizing that. And I think when you ask that question, who's it easier? I'm more readily accessible in the Republican fields. They are more curious. They are inviting me to things and wanting to be involved more so than I feel like a lot of the Democrat organizations are. But maybe that will change because the climate of this whole election cycle here in Nebraska hasn't been focused on the Republican Party. The GOP primary was huge in the media, and everyone was talking about it. Everyone was watching it.
I mean, that's essentially the race right there in Nebraska.
Yeah.
It always has been.
It always has been. And so now that we're down to just the three of us, and it sounds like there's a fourth trying to get on the ballot as well.
Who?
I'm not gonna.
Don't say their name.
Yeah, do your research. He's there. I'm not gonna plug anybody. Sorry, that's not how this game works,
smart.
Caleb. I don't get 4.8 million Google hits.
I realized just now. I realized that we were doing a podcast and not just talking. So
right.
Yeah, we don't want to.
Well, I'll fill you in tomorrow, right?
That's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. So now that there's the three of us, I can really start solidifying my messaging and really. Figure out where I can fill the gap because I think that's what needs to happen right now. So I think the Democrats are open to change.
Yeah.
But I also think that the fear is running very strong on both sides, and fear is a powerful emotion, and it causes tribalistic behaviors.
For sure.
So, not that I'm a psychologist, but I took a psychology class in college one time. But like if you look at like human history, if a calamity occurs, you circle the wagons, right? You bring your community together, you rally, and so it becomes really tribalistic and very, very divided. And I have to work in the middle here and try and peel off as many people. It's like no, don't hide. Let's really do something. So
yeah, that's what I've always said that I have conservative views and liberal views, and no matter what, almost every single time, I always feel more comfortable talking with about my liberal views with my conservative friends than vice versa, because It seems people on the left, specifically in Democrats, have a little bit more of a purity test where there are certain boxes you absolutely have to check or they will not. Like, there's Republicans that they're willing to look past, even huge issues to them, like the abortion issue and stuff, because if you check 70% of the boxes, that's better than the other guy that checks 30% of them.
Right. So that's the thing. That's the thing you got to worry about. So, and I'm like you, man. I'm conservative in the streets, but liberal in the sheets.
Hell
know. So, and I think, I think you hit the nail on the head. There are some issues that are just unwavering on both sides, though.
For sure.
Yeah, so.
For sure. That's got to be tough. Campaigning out in conservative.
It almost feels like anymore, though, in politics that it's frowned upon to walk that line between the two, You know what I mean? Because at least when if you're voting for the establishment red or establishment blue, you're getting.
Right.
But when you're voting for more of a personality type, it's more of like, okay, now I really got to know what this guy's all about.
What's he really gonna do? Right.
It's honestly it's the lazy voter. You know what I mean? Like, what you're getting with both sides, but you have to actually do some research when it comes to certain.
And those lazy voters, we have to figure out how to get them to the polls one time. Just please, if you're hearing this right now and you're like, I don't vote, my vote doesn't count, I'm begging you, I'm pleading you, if you are registered to vote, and if you're not, go register, go vote for me one time.
That's nonsense. Your vote counts 3 times if you live in Michigan and Pennsylvania.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing that's a thing that happens. So
a certain side.
Federal elections are one thing, but
freest and fairest election in our lifetime.
Everybody should take part in their local politics.
Absolutely.
Because they affect you way more. Your governor affects you way more than the president. I promise you.
Well, it used to, but now I'm not so sure anymore. But having a governor that's gonna be willing to stand up to the federal government when they're on some bullshit
that's priority number one.
Yeah.
We have to invoke the 10th Amendment. We have to make sure that we keep the feds out of our backyard when they don't have any business being in it. Mm-hmm. And when you talk about being in conservative country, I tell you, I'm pretty fiscally conservative when it comes to government spending.
Sure.
And more importantly, more fiscally conservative when it comes to government funding.
Yeah.
I think that's another thing that I focus on too. So I think that's a real low-hanging common ground that we can at least agree on.
I was going to say, even for the left-leaning people that are concerned with this election, it'd be nice to have somebody in there that's not funded completely by pharmaceutical companies and stuff too, their family, who we know who is currently running as governor, is currently governor of Nebraska is.
Sure.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Deep pockets.
It's just really, it's just, again, folks, it's just the elite class keeping themselves elite, and I don't know a better way to say that. I'm not a politician. I'm not in this for any political gain. Like, I've got no delusions of grandeur. In fact, my primary focus as governor would be to start the process of getting the government smaller and less intrusive, so it really doesn't matter who's sitting in that chair. That's the ultimate long-term goal. Now, can I accomplish that in 4 or 8 years? Probably not, but I can start that momentum. And
that's the important thing, is because I remember in 2016 all the people crying when Trump lost, and I'm like, dude, like, why don't you ask yourself, how did we get to the point where the presidency mattered enough to where you would cry based on who had the position? Because it was never supposed to be that.
The only people that should have been crying about that were like people in other countries, realistically, because the president's typically supposed to handle most of the foreign affairs,
foreign policy.
Which is why when I hear people complain that Joe Biden isn't responsible even in a little bit for the gas prices going up, I'm like, what branch of government OFAC falls under, right?
Right.
Like, that's foreign policy. That's executive branch 101 right there.
That's my thing. Is it's such a gaslighting thing, no pun intended, to talk about. Oh, well, we're not the only country with higher gas prices. I'm like, yes, but like people with an IQ above 7 can figure out that we live in a globalized economy, and the United States is one of the leaders in that economy, and our decisions directly affect prices across the world. That's how that works. So yes, it is Joe Biden's fault that the gas is higher in France. Partially,
the Western countries, like, those are all NATO countries,
right?
And we are the de facto leaders of NATO. So, which is Joe Biden is like the commander in chief of NATO, essentially.
Joe Biden's handlers, but we're veering off track.
So I guess they are kind of right in a little bit of that he's not actually responsible. He's just an empty shell there,
right?
So, I guess we should address the big story. There was that the mass shooting in Texas with the school violence. You had 19 people dead. We have a policy. We don't say the shooter's name. We don't show his picture on this show. Just that it's fucking, there's no point in doing it. But I guess a lot of the people want to know, what would you do to prevent school shootings?
Yeah, especially as a teacher, you have to have.
You have a unique experience.
Gosh, guys, and I knew you were going to bring it up, and I probably should have told you. So for me, like, obviously I have my own point of view, and I'm pretty steadfast in my Second Amendment stance. But I don't like this politicizing tragedy.
Absolutely.
I don't like it. I don't like the soapboxing that's occurring right now on both sides. And it's just just division. It's just keeping us separated, when really we should be focusing on that this was just a horrific tragedy.
Yeah.
It's a hard. I've got talking points that I've been working through, but to prevent that here, like, I think training, prep and training for resource officers in schools is necessary. I think you need to have somebody there. I think most schools that I've experienced have very secure entry systems here. So I'm not, and again, I can't speak for being out in Western Nebraska. I haven't spent a lot of time in schools in Western Nebraska. So I don't know. I think we hear the mental health discussion. I think that's something that we have to do a better job. Our government, in my opinion, has very few responsibilities.
For sure.
But some of those responsibilities are the safety and security of its people, and the safety and security and well-being of its most vulnerable in its society. So that's your children, that's your elderly.
Absolutely.
So when you're talking about creating, and I don't like to necessarily use the word policy, because as governor, you don't wield a magic wand and you just say, here's the policy now. But I think what you look for is you have to have conversations with what do they want in the community. You have to listen to what the communities want and what they need. I've talked to many veterans that have said, "Hey, I'm not doing anything else. I would show up at a school and hang out all day," and maybe that's not a bad idea. Maybe we do. It's a sad state of society if that's the case, where we have to have patrols at all of our school sites, but I think we default back to the localized communities, and instead of from a state perspective saying, okay, this is the mandate, you divert it back and say, okay, this is a local issue, and I, as your governor, will support what you're doing in your communities to take care of your people. And then, of course, if they aren't doing their job, then you have a responsibility to step in. But yeah, that's like a last resort. Unfortunately, we're not seeing that with current state of government. They step in right away, and they're like this and that. There's a couple of petitions going on right now, ballot initiatives. One of them's the constitutional carry initiative, which will give the voters in Nebraska a chance to vote for that. And then there is the full access ballot initiative as well, which gives you, if you have a permit to carry, you have full access to carry anywhere. Now, I have to be real careful, Caleb. You've heard the story when I ran for school board, and I was misquoted as saying that I wanted to arm all teachers.
Yeah.
When I simply just said that I think the first step would be to eliminate the gun-free zones in the schools. Let's just get rid of that, because that's clearly not doing anything. No.
Yeah, it's not working at all.
No psychopath is going to walk up and go, "Oh no, they have a sign. I'm going to walk away."
Gun-free zone. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'll go shoot up a shooting range. How about that, or a police station? Yeah.
Sure. But we're in a real hard position, and people are really passionate and very emotional about it.
Yeah.
I will say this, that I don't see if any future gun regulation isn't going to stop what already happened.
No.
And that being said, we have more firearms in this country than we have people, and you invoke a new legislation or a new ban, and you simply are now creating a whole new breed of criminals that were just the other day law-abiding citizens. So
they've done nothing wrong.
That have literally done nothing wrong.
Creating more criminals from somebody that was already doing like an already criminal act.
Right.
Well, the problem is you have in so many of these situations, and we're still learning about the shit in Texas, but I know for a fact the guy in Buffalo had been institutionalized for saying he wanted to commit a mass shooting.
Yeah.
The police and FBI knew about it. They had knowledge of it, and they did that he wanted to do this, and they didn't stop him. So I just don't understand how our solution is to take more independence away from us and make it more difficult for us to own or carry a firearm, while simultaneously giving more responsibility and making us more dependent on the people who let this shit happen in the first place.
I'll say this, as like in El Paso, right? We had that very publicized the Walmart shootings that happened here. Now, this is about 2-3 years later now, right?
Yeah.
It's still, there's always a local, like a El Paso police officer at every Walmart here in El Paso, and Walmart contracts their own security, but there's also a police officer there. So it's like, that's a trained city local police officer that's there.
It's a deterrent.
It is a deterrent. And with somebody who's done security stuff with military, they'll always say the number one thing to prevent anything crazy going on is presence. So,
for sure. For sure,
man. It's a hard conversation. And again, I feel horrible. My heart breaks for those people.
Yeah.
I had to have conversations today that I should never have to have.
For sure.
Do you know what I mean? And it's one of those things where, it's heartbreaking, and unfortunately, the political machine is going to use it to further create a deeper divide.
Absolutely.
That's ultimately they're gonna play the game, and they're gonna manipulate the pawns, and they're gonna do all the things that the dog and pony show that we've been seeing year after year after year my entire life. And we gotta figure out how to make it stop. It's like steamrolling out of control.
Yeah, and
it's frustrating. I'm just a regular dude, and I'm going up against the mighty machine itself, and it's like, wow. Well, the deeper I get, the more I realize how deep the roots lie. So,
well, like what I don't think a lot of people realize is guns have been here for a long time. You know what I mean? Like AR-15s have been available for civilians since what, the 50s, 60s? You know, kids used to take their guns to school and shoot trap with the trap team after school, or rifle or whatever. Yeah. So something changed along the way. The guns have always been there, 10,
15 years, really. I mean, like Columbine happened in the 90s, but
that was really an isolated incident at that point, you know. Like something over the last 10, 15 years, and I really think it's just the fact that millennials were broken and Gen Z's even worse. There's something, we're really the first two generations that grew up where a large percentage didn't have a father in their life. You know what I mean? Where violence was we were desensitized to it, and it was even glorified. And I'm not one of those people that thinks that, you know, violent video games make you shoot up a school, but like at the same time, I can't imagine it's very healthy for a 5-year-old to be, you know, mowing people down on Grand Theft Auto in their formative years. I can't imagine that helps people mentally.
Sure.
On the other hand, this is also the first generation that it grew up with internet porn on demand. You can go, like, we've been completely desensitized to sex. Porn ruins relationships. It ruins marriages. It ruins men's brains specifically. I mean, if you're a man above the age of 12 listening to this show, you've had a problem with internet pornography at one point in your life. Every man has. It's the reality. Some men have it much worse, but I mean, that's the reality of it. And I think it ruins people's brains, and none of those things on their own are going to make people commit mass shootings. But when you take someone that's already unstable and you combine and you add those three factors to their life: no father, desensitization to violence, and easy access to porn, so you don't care about, you have no meaningful sexual relationships, romantic relationships. You add those three things, that's a recipe for disaster. So that was my soapbox. Sorry.
No, it's a good point of view, and very
it's a moral. We're in the middle of a moral decay, and I'm concerned that it's irreversible. Is my
so that's the thing? Is it rolling down the hill too fast?
Yeah. Moral and mental decay. I don't know. Like I had a question. I Googled it. I looked it up today because I was thinking to myself, I've never, like, when's the last time you heard about a shooting at a Catholic school, a Catholic or Christian school? And I looked it up. A mass shooting, not like, because there was one where some guy robbed a gas station, fled to the parking lot, and the cops shot him. And of course, that's counted on those school shooting statistics that they like to talk about. He was
on the property. Or
yeah, but
shooting on a school.
Shooting
on school grounds.
So you guys remember that meme that was going around, like 173 school one of them was a kid went to an abandoned school building and shot a window out with a BB gun. Like, it's
one of them was like a kid demonstrating how to shoot a gun, like in a school speech. Like,
it's complete horse shit. Yeah, it's like, oh, you had a paintball gun within 20 miles, a paintball game within 20 miles of your school. Like that. So, but no, so I Googled it. When's the last time there was a shooting in a Catholic school, a private religious school in the United States? You want to know the answer? There never has been. There has not been one shooting in a private school in the history, one mass shooting in the history of the United States at a private school. Not from K through 12. Not one. So I don't know. I know it's easy to dunk on the religious people for the thoughts and prayers, but maybe people should look into what they're doing right. Because,
Well, I feel like, too, like this one that most recently happened, like it wasn't like Columbine or even the one that you went through, Caleb, where the person that did it was like a crazy person that went to that school.
Yeah.
Like this wasn't a full-grown person that went to an elementary school. Like,
yeah, it was like,
even you can say like mental health and everything all you want about it, but it's like at the end of the day that was just a crazy person that picked an easy target. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like, what are you gonna do?
And he shot his grandma in the face, man.
Who shoots their grandma?
Right? So Caleb, back to your solution. Not only did he probably not have a dad, but he probably didn't have his mom either.
Probably not. Like everyone wants to talk about toxic masculinity, but how many of these mass shooters had a father in their life? How toxic is masculinity?
Do you think the Virginia Tech one have? The Virginia Tech one was like one of the really big ones I remember from when I was a kid. The Virginia Tech shooter.
Did he have a father?
Yeah, I'm gonna look.
I mean, he may have. I mean, I don't know. That's a good question, but
no, and I think I don't. And then I've been to so many different conversations about guns. Limited magazine capacities and all of these things.
It's not going to do anything.
None of those things
get them illegally.
None of those things make it different. So I don't know what the reasonable solution is. I wish I did. I wish I knew, because that's the $1 million question, right? So.
Yeah. Because there's not, I mean, they'll get them illegally, but or they'll just, you make magazines a 10-round limit. Well, guess what? Guy walks into a school with fucking 3 10-round magazines strapped to his belt. What difference is that? It takes 2 seconds to drop it out.
Full.
It takes.
This kid dropped a backpack full at the door of the school. So
it takes 2 seconds to drop a magazine out and switch it out. That's not going to stop anything. That's not, the magazine capacity. It's people, and I think not all of them, but some of them come from a good place where they think they're doing the right thing, and they just want to feel like they're doing something, because it does suck to feel helpless.
It does.
But unfortunately they're misinformed, and a lot of them are ignorant even to how firearms work. Right. And there's room for education there, and that might change their perspective. But a lot of these people don't want education. They want to stand on this hill that if you don't agree with me, you're happy these kids died, which is a horseshit position.
I've
just been there's hard objective.
You don't care. Right?
There's hard objective and current evidence, right? Mm-hmm. That prohibition of something doesn't stop,
especially not in the United States.
Present. Yes, of course, it doesn't work,
dude.
Especially when there's already there. It's already out there.
There's 400 million of them. Yeah, and now 3D printers are a thing, man. We can't keep people and drugs from coming across the border. Why could we stop guns? We're not England. We're not Europe. You can't just wave a magic. They always point to European gun laws where they had 12 of them before the ban went into effect.
Right.
That's a lot easier to make that disappear when you never had them to begin with. And there's a lot of questions as to whether or not it even worked, because their crime rates all shot way up after they did.
Yeah, not only that, but then someone like England had to deal with a ton of acid and knife attacks. People in England can't even have fucking knives bigger than 3 inches and stuff. That's ridiculous.
The thing is, even if I could wave a magic wand and make them all disappear, every gun in the world, I wouldn't do it, because that's the equalizer. That's the equalizer.
That'd be super dangerous. There's people that live up in Alaska that need to fucking defend themselves from bears.
Even in the city, dude, if you're a 5'3" woman and a guy breaks into your house in the middle of the night, the only thing that's guaranteed to protect you is a firearm.
Well, what about our constituents out there in even Western Nebraska? They got mountain lions out there, dude, that they have to defend their cattle from and stuff. Yeah.
Coyotes,
wolves. They're probably no wolves in Nebraska, but
here in Texas, dude. Those warthogs are all over the place.
Warthogs are bad,
and you can't kill them with a knife, dude. You have to shoot them with a very large caliber.
I would not want to try and kill a warthog.
I know, man.
What are you, Davy Crockett?
I know that everyone's first thought is for self-defense against criminals, but it's dude, there's America is at one point was considered the wilderness, crazy fucking untamed
animals.
Wild, dude. And there's still a ton of really dangerous animals here in the United States, and
especially in the
every
South.
City, every country, dude, or every state. Yeah,
absolutely. Mountain lions, like you said, coyotes, wolves. So have you seen the John? You know who John Rich is, right? The singer from Big and Rich, his country band.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So he was telling a story on a podcast he was on. He was at a dinner with a bunch of famous people. It was somebody's birthday party, and Nancy Pelosi was there. And she walked up to him. She goes, "You seem like a reasonable guy." And he's like, "Well, thanks, I guess." And she goes, "Can I ask you a question?" He's like, "Sure." She goes, "So do you hunt?" He goes, "Yeah." She goes, "Well, I'm not a hunter. And is it so if I shot at a deer and missed it, it would run away, right?" And he goes, "That's correct." And she goes, "So why do you need a magazine with more than 7 or a gun that holds more than 7 rounds in it if the deer would run away?" And he goes, "Madam Speaker," he held up his phone and he goes, "All right, so my wife is sitting at home with our 2 kids, 3 and 5, in the middle of the city in Nashville, Tennessee right now. If she were to call me right now and say, 'Someone broke in, I hear footsteps coming up the hallway,' would you advise me to tell her to grab the gun with 7 rounds or the one with 30? And she just went, "Is that how you think about that?" And he goes, "Yes, it is." And she goes, "Well, it was nice to meet you," and walks away. I'm like, what a fucking
She doesn't have to worry about it, man. She's got armed security. Dude, this girl I worked with up at the school I was at, right? Me and her would have discussions about this kind of stuff, and we would disagree on stuff, but we would keep it civil. But one thing that kind of bothered me about one of her stances was she was saying she didn't like guns, right? And I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, we're in a city, a left-leaning city, and she's young, like a 20-something girl. Like, she'll probably not.
I don't like tequila. That doesn't mean you shouldn't be able to drink it.
That's not the thing, though. The thing is like she would tell me stories about how she was like a richer girl in Mexico. Like her family has a lot of money, and she lives in Mexico, and she had armed guards around her all the time when she was a kid.
Where guns are illegal.
Well, I mean, I think you can. I don't know how gun laws work in Mexico. To like,
you probably get permits for security.
I know you can get them because people have them. Because it's just like here, like you got to shoot coyotes and shit out there. But like, she had like armed security and stuff. So I'm like, okay, so you're not cool with like regular people having guns, but like the rich people having security guards. Like that seems a bit. You know what I mean? That seems a bit. It's like
hypocritical.
People that just live in like a trailer home can't afford security guards, dude. Like, are you kidding me? For their kids and stuff, like.
Right.
I always love people that tell me to get a dog. I'm like, I love my dog. I'm not gonna put her in harm's way.
A grizzly bear in Alaska will rip any dog.
Rip your dog to shreds. Yeah,
I've seen a pit bull charge
a mountain lion will rip your dog to shreds.
Yeah, I've seen a video of a pit bull trying to attack a bison, and that bison like flips that dog like fucking.
I admire the spirit.
8 feet up in the air, dude.
And then the dog went and bit a child.
Yeah, ran and bit a child.
That's what they do.
Yeah,
that's what they do. I don't want to spend the whole episode on the gun issue because I know you have a lot bigger platform than that. And that's not. It's the pressing issue of the time. Everyone wants to know.
And it's an important conversation. And you guys get the first Zimmerman for governor interview after the issue, so you get the debut.
Yeah,
we set the standard for all future conversations here. So
hell yeah.
Well, I guess if you guys are if the constituents in Nebraska are understanding that they're having somebody who's willing to listen to different solutions, you know what I mean? Because I honestly don't think there's going to be any solution to this or really any of the pressing issues in Nebraska that aren't going to have some kind of but to them. You know what I mean?
They're all there. It's all there.
Dude, if the solution, it's just like weight loss. If there was an easy black and white solution, everyone would be doing it.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
The reality is, I think the thing that we're losing sight of, and I think that is the biggest issue is the tax structure here in Nebraska. It's out of control. Property taxes are nuts and income tax are nuts. It's just out of control. And I know personally, I don't feel like I'm getting my return on investment with my tax dollars.
No. Nobody is.
I don't, and I think that's a very common thing for us to talk about. So, and the things that people have to remember is every new law, every new regulation we put in place adds additional burden on the taxpayer dollar. It ends up costing us more money. We have to enforce it. We have to regulate it. We have to try it in the court systems. We have to all those things, and it costs money to do those things. So. Definitely a big area of my focus is the conservatorship, like bringing down the cost of our government and to operate it. That's a big focus. And again, we talk about not having all the answers. I don't know that I know where to start even cutting. You know what I mean? I don't know where to start.
But that's what you hire advisors for.
Well, so that's what they're there for, right? Yeah. That's one of the things that I take great pride in, guys, in my history is my leadership experience. And I know I'm a teacher now. I've kind of culminated to that in my life. Found for lack of a better term, my calling. I really enjoy what I do. But my leadership experience, I have always excelled at building highly effective teams. People, putting the right people in the right jobs at the right time and giving them responsibilities that they can accomplish, free from micromanaging, free from just guiding them and letting them do the thing and trusting them to do their job. And I think that as a governor candidate, I think that brings some value, and knowing that I'm not beholden to a political tribe. Yeah, I'm registered as a libertarian, but one of the greatest things about being a libertarian is that focus on individualism. right? Let's if we're heading in the right direction, which is in getting liberties back restored again, getting government out of our personal affairs, and reducing the cost of our government, I think libertarians will always be happy. But in order to do those things, I'm going to have to draw coalitions. I'm going to have to bring people together and find ways to agree on what we need and what we don't need.
Here's a question for you, Scott, that might kind of go against the grain of that a little bit because of something that Nebraska's had to deal with in its past. What do you think is best options for like crisis type stuff? Because we had it a few years ago with the Platte River flooding and everything, and that was a huge thing. And you know what I mean? I don't. It seemed like Nebraska kind of was hit or miss when it came to the crisis reaction with that. So
yeah, I think we were a little ill prepared, and I think I'm trying to. I mean, that was so long ago. I'm trying to remember, how it was really handled.
I remember Ricketts was flying around in helicopters and trying to get a bunch of federal funding for it and everything.
Yeah,
but it's like
photo ops and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, in those situations, you have to take care of your people. You have to take care of your communities. You guys, I'm such a huge conspiracy theorist. That flood was man-made, man. All that stuff. But you know what I mean? Like that was an orchestrated event to siphon money into the power district. No, I don't want to go off on some weird tangent, but
I promised I wouldn't talk about conspiracies that would hurt your campaign.
All right, so here I go. Here I go. Yeah. No, but the reality
now
is,
that you've opened the floodgates, no pun intended.
No, but to circle back, I think from a state perspective, you have to be able to take care of your people. You have, and in a crisis situation, immediacy of response time is necessary. You have to get in there and you have to make a difference. You can't drag your feet. You can't ho-hum about it. You just got to make a decision and go with what's best for those communities impacted by any type of crisis. The wildfires are impactful. We're getting the Dust Bowl situation that we're getting out west. These could be all considered crises as well. How involved does the state need to get in? Well, I mean, we have a drought, it's a crazy drought right now. So,
and I've heard they've been saying that the winds are like really heavy this year,
and the winds are just brutal. Yeah, blowing all the soil around and everything. But yeah, so I think you have to have the discretionary funds available to be able to move when movement is necessary. And I don't think that is a situation we're in right now in Nebraska. I think we're so hyper focused on spending our money on things that aren't necessarily important that we lose sight of having that safety net to be able to funnel in, and then we are in a situation where we're having to beg the feds for help. So,
I don't think anybody's side on whatever political side you're on would disagree that like a couple of years ago the flooding wasn't just an absolute shit show. You know what I mean?
Yes. So. Yeah, all those people and everything. I mean, it's just nuts. So I think disaster preparedness is a thing. I think we're pretty lucky here in Nebraska. All said, all done. We don't have a lot of disasters that we have to knock on wood.
I mean, those were like once in a lifetime floods, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that was
100-year floods or whatever. So.
Yeah, I mean, every now and then you get bad tornadoes and shit that'll roll through towns, but it's fairly.
Yeah, the thing about bad weather though is just like, especially in the Midwest, man, you just literally never know. You never know when something crazy is going to happen. So.
Why don't we just ban tornadoes? Let's just make tornadoes illegal.
It's a good idea. We should just make
tornado-free zones. Yeah, hang up the signs.
Stop! Well, you are violating the tornado law.
All I'm saying is I'm armed, and a tornado's never destroyed my house. So, because it knows it'll get shot if it comes fucking looking for trouble.
Yeah, it only goes for easy targets. Like,
no, I think as a community, as a state, we could focus on investing money in programs and scientific programs. Let's get the most advanced weather system monitoring system in the country. Let's do that thing. We have the resources, we have the brain power. If we can keep people in Nebraska, stop that brain drain from happening, we can keep some really highly intellectual people here that can figure out maybe some of the better solutions. So
I think we should. Yeah, no, for sure. That just sorry, it reminded me of there was like a thing in Florida where they were trying to get people to go shoot at the hurricane.
Yeah, that does remind me of that. All right, we're gonna get everybody to shoot at the tornado.
All right, on
form
three.
a posse.
Yeah, let's open fire.
Don't fire till you see the white of its eye.
I mean,
The governor's started a posse. We're hunting a tornado.
it's all I'm saying is it's never been tried, so don't write it off as a possible solution. Scott has promised me a position on his cabinet if he wins, but obviously disaster preparedness head is not that.
one of them. Not one of them.
It's like, have you thought about scrambling the National Guard, Governor? What do you mean, like for disaster? No, to fight the tornado.
Get the tornado.
Let's get the tanks rolling out there.
Right.
Come on now.
No, the idea is to reduce wasteful spending, Caleb.
Yeah, that's totally a Trump move.
You clearly send in the Air Force for a tornado.
Didn't Trump
in the sky, the Air Force.
Didn't Trump want to like nuke a hurricane?
No, I don't even know. I'm not even going there. I'm not.
I thought that was just something that people were saying, like he was like doing or something. I don't know.
You know what sucks in those situations? Like anything you hear, kind of somebody said, "Oh, Biden said this" or Trump said that. Like, what sucks is like most of it's just believable.
Yeah.
Why is that so bad? Like it's just
like,
oh well, okay. Well.
When the rumors were going around about Biden shitting himself at the Vatican, number one, if he did, you'd never know. They'd keep that under secrets. If you leaked it, you'd kill yourself by shooting yourself in the back of the head 2 times. But
they'd shoot those pants in the back of the head twice.
But I mean, like, just the fact that a rumor could start that the president shit himself while he was meeting the Pope, and even 20% of the population could just be like, yeah, I could see it. That's not an issue. Like,
that doesn't concern anybody.
Right.
Yeah.
Say what you want about like Bush or Obama or Clinton, but nobody would believe that one of those guys shit themselves at the Vatican or anywhere else.
No,
Biden, yeah, believable. I could see it. I could see it. Would you Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. And I think it's so weird because, the political parties are so tribalistic that they have elevated their politicians to a level of stardom.
Yeah, that's
the celebrity status, right? And then it's like a hero worship situation, and that's a problem. That's a bad place to be. And from a society, when we're letting entertainment value determine our voting, and when we talk about that, we talk about the mass amounts of dollars that go into those campaigns, literally millions of dollars, funneling into those campaigns. It's like, why would a millionaire invest millions of dollars in order to get a position that pays, $100,000 a year? Right. Other than the perks of being able to look out for other millionaires and do favors for each other. So,
well, it's because they get money under the table too.
So that's what we hear. I don't know if there's any proof for that, but
well, you go take a look at Nancy Pelosi's stock portfolio.
Follow the money. Anyway, yeah.
Been
right more times than Warren Buffett. Like,
right.
I mean, even our current governor comes from a very wealthy business family out of Illinois. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
He does.
It's like you said, they wouldn't take pay cuts unless there were perks to it. You know what I mean?
There's a reason.
Yeah, absolutely. So. And like, I don't think people realize that like how dirty money works. It's not some mobster taking the guy or going into the office like, we'll cut you a check for $500,000. It's not how that works. What they do is the politicians set up fake consultancy LLCs, and they'll pay these LLCs for, consulting for a bunch, if they don't build a bridge somewhere and they put it somewhere else. You know what I mean? It's that kind of thing. That's how corruption works. It's not like the movies where you got guys taking briefcases full of cash into the governor's mansion.
Right.
The governor meets with all the representatives from like the beef packing industries and stuff that like work in Nebraska, and then about like, oh, what are your guys' takes on this new regulation that they want to pass? And they're like, all right.
Yep. Follow the money.
All right, $500,000 for this meeting. Thank you. Have a good day.
Right.
So money's a big deal in politics. Have you worked to secure, or have you secured any, special interest group donations like Gun Owners of America, anything like that?
No, at this point in time, I'm really just focusing on meeting the people. Yeah, it costs money to do this thing, and there's some flowing in, but not anything to be noteworthy at this point, Caleb.
No Herbster money.
No. My thing is, like, I refuse to waver in my morals and my character.
Yeah.
And usually money comes with strings attached. So almost always. Now there's the small one-off donors, the 10ers, the 5s, 20s, 50s, 150. Even that, those people are making a difference. They're making a big impact.
Yeah, they're paying for gas. They're paying for
but those people that are maybe looking at bigger contributions, $5,000-$10,000, those kind of things. Those people are going to want something probably in return. And I'm on record as being that guy that I don't have a price tag, Yeah. And I think that that's one of the big messages that I'm trying to push to Nebraskans is, like, do you have a price tag? Is your humanity have a price on it? Are you willing to go to the highest bidder? The guy that spends the most money in the campaign, is that just going to be the guy that gets your vote or the girl that gets your vote? Mm-hmm. Or are you going to look at somebody that really is trying to represent you? So I know it. I hear it all the time, money, 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 but I'm not as concerned about that as I am just getting out and meeting with people and trying to make an impact that way, because I think there's far more value in that personal connection. Boots on the ground, for lack of a better term, showing up in towns and shaking hands and having breakfast and coffee with people, and I think they appreciate that. So
kissing hands and shaking babies.
And I think one of the things that I've really noticed that I haven't noticed in past races that I've been in, whether it was the school board in the past or when I was lieutenant governor candidate, is that there's so many people talking about me now that aren't me, and a majority of them I don't even know. Yeah.
You get recognized out in town. You get recognized.
Yeah. Like, are you the guy? Yeah, I'm the guy, So
I only get recognized for bad reasons. Like, there's the asshole that hit my car and drove away last week.
Right. It's that guy that tells that joke. Yeah. It's
followed by an eye roll. Like,
I know. Ask Mia. We've had people. We got seated at a fucking restaurant. They get up and request a new table once before. Like, people I recognized from shows. Yeah. Anyway, continue.
That's funny. No, that's just that's a part of it, and the brand recognition is part of my strategy. Being recognizable. Beard. Yeah, being recognizable. And just being out there in the public eye as much as I can. One of the things my campaign advisors and I have talked about in depth is, like, the importance of getting my message, my voice, and my image out in front of the people as much as possible, because they're not going to see it on TV. They're not going to see me in the news coverage. I'm not getting major media coverage. Even people that I consider my friends that are in the media are dismissive at best of this campaign at this point in time. And I get it. Like, the one of them is at least taking the time to say, hey, look, when you're newsworthy, we will cover you. Yeah. So I just need to focus on being newsworthy. And what does that look like? Well, that looks like more and more people talking about me, Hey, if you're looking for a new governor in Nebraska, tell him you got a guy.
Yep.
His name is Scott Zimmerman. Check him out. And I think that goes a long way, because more and more people are there. The web traffic on my website is daily, just pop. It's pinging every day. I'm getting 5, 6, 12 messages a day on my website. It's hard to keep up with everything. I've got a campaign person handling my messaging so I for a while there, I was trying to personally respond to everything.
Probably can't do that now.
Oh my God. Well, I'm still doing, like, I'm usually right on top of it, but we're on the last week of school now. There's a lot on my plate. I'm just exhausted. I'm emotionally and physically exhausted at this point in time. So it's really hard for me to keep up with the flow. But what I have learned through the messaging is that I desperately need to update my website and get my platform issues on there. But again, some of that is I don't want to list 33 bullet points. I don't want to do the classic libertarian move, where I provide a dissertation for how I believe in all these things. I want to be able to give the voters their key points, what they're really valuing, what's important to them. And if I'm being just straight honest, I don't necessarily know that I have 100% idea what that looks like right now. I haven't met with enough people. I haven't talked with enough people to really drill down. So I know, on some of the hotter issues, what I can talk about, but mostly my focus at this point in time is just reminding people that I'm just a guy that got sick of politics as usual, and I want better for the future of Nebraska. I want a place to call home that my children will never feel like they have to leave in order to live their best life. That's my focus for the state of Nebraska, and I hope that works for the voters here too. So,
and that's a big problem is brain drain, specifically in Omaha.
Everywhere.
We just lose so many people. And I think a lot
even
of
out in the western small towns, man, people move away because they don't want to work in.
They don't want to work on the farm. Or at the factory, or and that's a big problem is people. And I think the biggest thing here is taxes, is income tax and property tax are so high. It's dumb to own land here, and it's like
it can be,
It's dumb to buy land.
Yeah.
It's dumb to buy land, because owning land, dude, you got it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So but that's the problem, man. Is specifically in Omaha, you see it here all the time, man. I always joke that everyone in Omaha has two things in common. Number one, they're all moving out of here. Number two, they never will. That's not really a thing anymore. People are leaving.
Right. Well, the property tax is like a trifecta here in the Omaha area, because not only do you have the state level, but then you got Douglas County's assessors setting the property value,
and you get company competition where they just scalp workers from Omaha, especially right now with everybody transferring work and stuff.
I think we may see a little bit of a decrease in that with the uptick in remote jobs where a company can pay. I mean, dude, California wages in Omaha or anywhere in Nebraska, you're living like a king. You know what I mean? Sure. And they can hire. Now they have an entire national pool of talent instead of just 12 people in their city. And that's another thing that I was going to say on the flip side of the brain drain that I've noticed is a lot of people move back. It's not a place that people they hate it. They don't hate it. They just get bored and they go out and
they just realize that they get, for one, they have their family there, but then two, it's like, dude, if you want to live in a city, like Omaha's got the only thing that Omaha doesn't have that a lot of other cities has is like
violent homeless people.
A really big pro sports team. There's some violent homeless people. You just got to go to the right area.
Zimmerman for governor. One of my primary focuses is I'm going to bring NFL to Nebraska.
There we go, dude.
I'm going to bring it. I'm going to do it. I don't know what the best way to make that happen is, but I am going to make that a long range plan. That's a mission and a vision I have.
We threaten Roger Goodell. That's what we do. Step one.
Yeah, I don't know. I know we had the XFL here for a little while. The Nighthawks were here. It was kind of.
There's a couple of smaller startup football leagues and stuff going on.
But I think the NFL is ripe, and I think that there's place for it. And I think from an economic perspective, I think incentivizing a team to come here would benefit our state greatly. It would bring so many jobs and benefit all of the industries: the restaurant industry, the bar industry, the entertainment industry.
Absolutely. And you think those athletes, they have to live here during the season.
Yep.
So now you have there's 53 players on a roster. You have 53 more millionaires here stimulating the economy. And a lot of them start charity foundations.
Ticket sales for all the wealthy people that live in Omaha and everything. It's the right market, man. I mean,
and they start companies and those athletes, they bring money here. They start businesses, they start charity foundations. They do more than a lot of them, not all of them. A lot of them do more than just play sports. So would you want the NFL to expand, or would you try to poach from another city?
I don't know. So I've been looking at that, and I think so. You look at an
poach the Commanders out of Washington, dude.
You look at
or even Even Jacksonville too.
I know
dude.
I know it's hard to believe, but Mr. Goodall is not returning my calls at this time.
Damn
but
it.
I think trying to poach a team from another area, it would be a little more difficult than trying to partner with another region and see if we can't spread out. Because I think if you expand, you have to do it in twos. If I understand correctly, right? It would have to be an even number of teams, right?
Yeah.
So who would be the next target? Where is the next state to go? So
I know when it comes to NBA teams for expansion, because that's another market that a lot of people say
NBA would be a good one to look into
in Omaha, because I mean Omaha doesn't have to build a stadium for it or an arena. They already have arenas, so that's a big one.
Yeah,
and also
I would love to see an NBA team here.
Imagine if the Kings moved back to Omaha, dude. They were there one time.
So I just selfishly I love the NFL. I love football.
Oh, of course.
But I think you're onto something, Nick. I think looking at just any like the NBA would be a great option to bring her, because we are equipped for that. Sans the downtown region not quite ready to handle an influx of that capacity, I don't think. But with that stadium right there, you're crossing over too, because Iowa doesn't have much either, right? So you get the people coming across the river.
Kansas City too. I mean, do people do that with going to the Chiefs games down there? So
the Chiefs and the
Royals, So
I think there's plenty of opportunity in our state. I think we've been kind of stuck in the status quo. Like we've been cruising on the pretty okay front. The state motto says everything. You know what I mean? Like honestly, not for everybody, right? So I aim to change that. Like Nebraska, probably better than you think. So
probably better than you think. Give it a shot.
I love Omaha personally, man. I've lived in a ton of other cities. Like, I love Omaha.
It's the big city without big city bullshit.
Yeah, Omaha's got everything you want from a big town, but it still feels like a little community. So for the most part, everyone. Growing. People are out of their minds right now, and it's making it really hard.
Yeah. Well, the thing about Omaha is like everybody doesn't know everybody, but they know someone who knows them. You know what I mean?
And everything that people complain about Omaha, people complain about the same stuff in every other city in the U.S.
Sure.
Like it's not unique to Omaha that there's bad traffic.
That's what I'm in because we promote shows and shit. So I'm in a Facebook group that it's for events in Omaha, and this guy was complaining about how there's nothing to do in Omaha and yada yada yada. And I'm like, dude, we have nationally touring musicians and bands every night in Omaha. There's someone there every night. We have nationally touring and local comedy shows every night. We have one of the best restaurant scenes of any city I've been to. Even as small as we are, most diverse at least.
Definitely. Heck yeah.
We have bars, we have nightclubs, we have everything. Dude, if you're bored here, you'd probably be bored in LA. That's all I'm saying. You'd probably, you sit in your fucking apartment 95% of the time. You're going to do the same thing there. It's a personality.
There's plenty of outdoorsy stuff to do in Nebraska too, man. Plenty of outdoorsy stuff. Like,
yeah. That's what I love about where I'm at right now. Like 5 minutes in the car and I'm out in the country. You know what I mean? So
it's lake. If you like beaches, I mean, it's not the ocean, but they got like the nice lake. They got the nice lakes out there with like sand and stuff. Like,
that's the only thing we have is the ocean and a pro sports team. That's it. But
I can handle the pro sports team. The rest of it's on the universe.
I can't.
The rest of it's on the universe, man.
We will saw Iowa off,
right?
Break off into the ocean,
create the sea.
Right.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We'll make our own.
The Kansas Bay,
All right. Well,
watch that one get snipped up, right? The Zimmerman wants to dig out Kansas.
We'd start with Iowa and then we could work from there. But that's
oh my gosh,
you get the voters more on board with Iowa. Than
Kansas. Absolutely,
for sure.
Well, in Western Nebraska, they all hate Colorado.
Do they?
Yeah, Colorado and Wyoming, or mainly Colorado. That's their Iowa.
Well,
they hate Denver.
Jealous. They're jealous about Colorado.
Oh, the weed.
Yeah.
That's
literally. They're actually jealous. They're like, man, why can't our state be like that?
VoteZimmerman.com. We can make that happen. So.
No, man, let's just get a license and set a dispensary up right on the border. We'd make so much goddamn money.
Yeah, they're doing it. They're doing that. But I don't know, man. I think there's a better way.
And weed. weed.
I think it's a huge missed opportunity for us as a state to drag our feet on that.
Just to even be able to grow it.
Well, my approach as governor would be first to declassify and deregulate. Let's just start there, and then evaluate what the marketplace needs and wants to do here, and then figure out how to manage it from there.
I just feel like now, like you could have maybe used that excuse of like, oh, we need to see what it'd be like 10 years ago. But dude, now so many states have legalized it and done it successfully, and not only that, so many states similar to Nebraska, like Colorado, geographically similar to Nebraska, right? Other than like location wise, but you know what I mean? Like they've done it and done it very, very successfully. So it's like at this point, what other excuse can Nebraska use?
Yeah, you can't. You talk about reducing government expenses.
Prison population. You hit it on the nose.
You reduce the prison populations. You reduce the law enforcement costs. The state of Illinois generated $184 million last year. Colorado's nearly $400 million.
And it's like that's who doesn't want it gone is the people that get money from being illegal. So it's like
So and then you talk about the land rights and farmers being able to produce, and I don't know. I think there's a lot of missed opportunity here in the state, and I think dragging our feet on it is a misstep. So as governor, I would definitely want to take a good hard look at that and see what we could do to get the legislation moved in the right direction to make it so that we can at least look at it and go from there. So and then we've got the medical petition coming up. So June 2nd here in Omaha, we're doing a Take the Power Back event where we've got we've got an organization coming. They've got I think 5 different ballot initiatives that they're bringing to the table.
Oh, I need to get a poster made for that tonight.
Please do. Yeah, they've got the constitutional carry. They've got the full access. They've got the medical freedom. They've got an education platform as well. And then the stand your ground as well as on there. So just your chance as a registered voter to come and get your signature on the line so that we can get these on the ballots so that the voters of Nebraska can have a voice so that we can really say what we're looking for. We'll also have the medical marijuana folks there. They're coming with their petitions as well. So again, for me, as governor, I want to represent the voices of the people. And if an initiative passes and gets on the ballot and is voted, I will absolutely support the will of Nebraskans. I will not personalize it, and I will not politicize it just to maintain face. As a representative of the people, you have to stand by their will. So get out there, folks. Get your voice. Let's take the power back here in Nebraska. So that's next Thursday, the 2nd. At Beach House.
Formerly Wired Pub.
Yeah, Beach House. How long do we have to keep saying formerly?
I'm going to give it a couple months, and then people will figure it out.
Okay. So. All right. So they're just starting to do some great things over there, folks. So
for sure,
keep an eye on those folks. She's doing a good job. So
yeah, they're doing great.
Yes, please, Nebraskans, get out there and vote. Even our listeners in other states, get out there and vote in your local elections. If you're going to do it in anywhere, do it your local elections. Yeah. It's very important.
Vote your conscience too. Vote for the person that you feel will best represent you, not for the person that's best suited to win.
Harambe.
I suppose Harambe, right? I'm waiting for my Harambe endorsement. I think it's coming.
So that's your lieutenant governor,
right? And then Friday the 3rd, we've got an event in Seward, Nebraska at Spare Time, which is going to be a lot of fun. We're
the 3rd and the 4th, right?
So the 3rd is the fundraiser for Zimmerman for governor, where former Libertarian vice presidential candidate Spike Cohen will be on site.
Oh, wow. Cool. That's cool.
So he's coming to help and support. We're going to be bowling for
Spike's
liberty. We're calling it.
Guy.
Yeah. Cool. So, and that's my jam. That's kind of, I can't tell, but I'm totally built for bowling. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like what I do. I'm not very good at it, but I really enjoy it. But it was mostly just a commonplace. Growing up, I spent a lot of time in that bowling alley, so it's just kind of like a coming home kind of situation. And then the 4th is that Liberty Fest here in town. I'm not sponsoring that or anything like that. I've been invited to come speak week there. That's being hosted by an outside independent group. The Libertarians are part of it, but I don't know how involved the whole state party is. I know from the Zimmerman for Governor perspective, I know I'm providing sound equipment and I get to give a speech. So
fuck yeah, and I'm opening for him. I'm giving him.
He's my hype man. He's my hype man. So
I got to write that speech. I forgot.
Sure.
Yeah, but we're popping off some rounds before that. They got a whole outdoor shooting range and shit, man. I'm taking Mia out, make her not scared of guns no more.
Good.
Fucking. No, I'm kidding.
It'll be a great day. I hope the weather is cooperative. That's always a variable when you're doing outdoor events. But yeah, so for sure, June 2nd here in Omaha, that Thursday night, and then Friday in Seward. So if you're in those areas, come out and say hi. And Liberty Fest, I know there's a cost to go to it, but you can find all those out on Facebook if you're looking for that thing. So yeah.
Oh yeah, that's where can people find you?
So the Facebook page is always active. As the kids say, my Facebook page is lit. No, I can't say that. They say don't say that, Mr. Z. But so at Zimmerman, the number 4 GOV, Zimmerman 4 Gov is my Facebook, and then the website itself is votezimmerman.com. Just real nice and simple. And if you're a supporter and you're posting about me, throw in that hashtag #BackTheBeard. That helps me with my analytics as well. So I'm at a point now where when I go to hashtag #BackTheBeard, it gives me the +1,000 number. So it's kind of cool. It's like, yeah, everyone's doing it. Yeah, it's out there. So either I've posted it 1,000 times or it's getting circulated one way or another. But this is how we're gonna win it. Shaking hands, meeting people. My pickup line out in public is, "Hey, do you want a weird story to tell someday?" And then I pull out one of my cards and I'm like, "Hey, I'm running for governor. I'll be on your ballot in November. If you don't like what the Republicans and Democrats are doing, just give me a look." And they're like, "Oh, thanks for that." And they walk away. Sometimes they engage in a dialogue. I've had people say, "Oh, I'm a libertarian. You're my guy," that kind of stuff. So it's really kind of neat to have that kind of recognition and acceptance out in the community. So people are ready. People are ready for something different.
I'm ready.
I don't know that I'm ready for the attack ads. I don't know how they're going to attack me. Or what
Sheesh, man. They're going to not find anything and they're going to make shit up. And that's
probably.
They've seen that.
Wouldn't be the first time. No, the reality is I think I'm ready for it because I'm unwavering in my character and my morals, and I think that is proven in my dealings with everybody. I think I've been persistent. I've been consistent. I've had people trying to call me out on some inconsistencies in my messaging now, but I've been able to kind of rectify that. Things that I said when I was chairman of the Libertarian Party versus what I'm saying as a governor candidate. It's different roles. It's different responsibilities. When you're a leader of a political party, you have a responsibility to tote the party line and say those platforms loud and proud. But as a governor candidate, now my branches have to spread out and cover more than just my libertarian think tank. I have to support all Nebraskans, Republicans,
and you have a lot more
Democrats,
power too.
Independents, yeah. So, and I feel like most of my libertarian friends and those that are supporting me within the party, they get it. They see what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. And honestly, you guys, I know people freak out about the word libertarian a lot, but it's not. There's a lot of gray area to being a libertarian. You know what I mean? You don't have to be all anarchist. You don't have to be ready to burn the whole government down. Just want a little bit of freedom. Maybe understand that your government doesn't trust you, and you probably shouldn't trust your government. And they've proven time and time again that they cannot and will not take care of us. They can't do it. They don't have the ability to do the things that they're saying they can do. So it's time for us to restore that power back to the people and get it localized again. So
And I think it's great that you just did an hour with us and didn't attack either of the other candidates. You didn't even mention their names.
I don't even know. I don't even know their names. So I don't. I'm just kidding.
Like, who is it? Tom Osborne?
Right. I'm running against Pete Ricketts, right, and Joe Biden. Those are the people.
Joe Biden.
Yeah, I don't. No, I mean, they both have their camps, and they both have their talking points, and they both have their strategies, and honestly, neither of them know I exist. I bet. So that's cool. We'll change that. Yeah. So
well, fuck them.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I'm in it for all the right reasons, and I know that, and that's not going to change. And true colors are going to start to shine through. Some of the feedback I get is like, wow, you're really personally responding to your Facebook messaging, and hey, you're really interacting with us in this forum. You know what I mean? And no other candidate is doing that. And maybe there's a reason why no other candidate's doing that, and I don't want to, maybe I should be staying out of it. But I think I don't prefer to engage in arguments on the internet, but I will provide explanations. So
I thought we were
dare
on the
to be
school of thought. I don't engage in arguments on the internet, but I will provide verbal abuse to people.
We're different. We're not the same, Caleb. We're not.
I will personally attack people.
I will immediately make fun of your child.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, even if I wasn't running for governor, that's not in my character. I'm not a personal attack guy. I'm an agree to disagree guy. So, in fact, I had one lady trying to goat me into an argument, and I finally just responded to her. I said, "Okay." And I haven't heard anything from her since.
No,
you know what I mean? And I think
response.
I think that's some value. That they're just trying to get me going. I know that, and I don't know. I'm too Jedi for that. So
sometimes that is the best response. I remember I worked in a customer service spot years and years ago, and Nick, you might recall this. This guy was calling, bitching about getting charged fees and all this stuff. Like they were completely his fault, and I was like, well, you get charged a fee every time you do that, sir. That's in the agreement when you open the account. And he goes, well, how would you like it if I charged you guys a fee every time you did something I don't like? And I just went, what? And he goes, never mind. I'm like, sometimes you just have to one word puts it into perspective how stupid that just sounded.
Right.
The way that Caleb said it was like baffled at how like
what?
Have you ever just been told something so stupid that you're just like it knocks you off your foot, you know what I mean? Like that's
just yes.
What? Yeah,
yes,
it's like that's we all have. So all right. Well, make sure y'all go vote Zimmerman.com. I'll put the thing up on the banner up on the bottom one more time.
Back the beard.
Check
out that logo. It's right there. See it out there. So yard signs are out in public. I'm getting people are like, I saw your sign all over the place.
Hell yeah. I need to
that's awesome,
my
man.
car.
Yeah, we need to order more. So
I got a t-shirt.
Yeah, shirts are coming again. We're ramping it up.
Give me some stuff too, man. I'm gonna be up in Nebraska in a week here, so I'll be rocking stuff, man.
Stop by and say hi. We'll get you.
He's on our show in June.
Oh, really?
He's doing our show on June 10th.
Oh,
yeah.
Yep.
Snap.
Right,
so perfect. Then we'll be there. You just got to make sure you give me a shout out on stage. So
of course,
that's how we're gonna win. That's how we're gonna win this thing. So.
Hell yeah,
gentlemen. Thank you. I really appreciate you guys having me on and giving me a chance to
absolutely
vent here a little bit. And I'd be happy to come back and visit as we get deeper into this campaign and give you an update on where we're at. And,
we'll do an episode.
I'll either be in tears and like all my hair will be fall out, or we'll be having a good time. So
or you'll be smiling and all your hair will be all out.
I'm always smiling, man. If it's not smiling, it's not worth doing. So
we'll have a live episode from the governor's mansion when you win.
I love it. Yeah, that inauguration party is going to be awesome. I got a couple of metal bands lined up. We're going to do stand-up comedy. It'll be a great time.
I don't know if we'll be able to beat the Ricketts family's cocaine, but like we could try.
I don't mess with that stuff, so we'll be good.
Too much fentanyl going on.
Yeah,
man.
For real. Too much for me. I'll tell you that. I'll take my banquets, and we'll be fine. So
yeah, no shit, right?
Right on. Dude.
All right. Well, we appreciate it as always, my friend. Thank you for coming on. Make sure you guys follow us, like, and subscribe on all the shit. There's my social media handles down there. Follow me on TikTok at Caleb Salvatore Comedy. They're trying to like stifle my videos and shit because they don't like what I'm saying. So make sure y'all go follow me on there. Nick, you got anything you want to plug?
The Chinese government, June 10th, man. Come out and support
Beach
us.
House. Yep. Yeah. Harmful Content Comedy. I don't know if you want me to say that you helped me put that on, because I don't know if you want to be associated.
Oh, no, I show up and I run the sound.
Scott shows up and runs the sound. It's a partnership, 50-50, but he shows up and runs the sound, and he's not involved in anything that's said on stage. He usually has earplugs.
So here's the thing. Hear it. Yeah, no, here's the thing, Caleb. I'm a Constitution guy, right? The First Amendment. The First Amendment matters.
The audience will tell you if it's funny.
The First Amendment matters. People should have the right to be able to say whatever they want on stage, and the audience will determine how it's received. I can't control that. I cannot control the words that come out of somebody else's mouth. I can't do that thing. So
if you're going to be one of those people that complain that there's nothing to do in Nebraska, I mean, the tickets that up the door will cost you a single type of bill. You know what I mean?
$10 or
not going to be crazy. Exactly, dude. That's something fun that'll burn a couple hours out of a weekend night there, and get out and support local stuff, and
and we have a great time. We have a really good time. Just good people hanging out, having a good time,
dude. It's seriously, it's a comedy show, but it's a big fucking party. That's that's all it is. So it's
an experience. It's a comedy experience.
Hell yeah. It's like I usually get sloppy drunk because I host, so I'm constantly going back up, and they're tossing me shots as I'm walking up to the stage.
Can confirm.
Yeah, and I'm just I remember one time I made Tony Geist and Alan Watts do an arm wrestling match.
To determine who was winner.
Because they tied for Clash of Comic. Yeah, dude, it's just fun. It's a fucking riot. Make sure you guys come out. It's if you haven't been to Harmful Content, June 10th, Friday. Make sure you guys come out to that. So it'll be lots of fun. We do it every month. But all right, I appreciate it. Thank you guys so fucking much.
Yep.
Deuces, y'all.